Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Chats with Coach Candy. I am trying something new this morning. Good morning, Deb. I am doing a live stream on both Facebook and YouTube. So I think I've got it all up and running and we are ready to rock and roll. Good morning, it's Monday. Good morning, Shirley. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your water, grab whatever it is that gets you up and rolling, rocking and rolling this morning. We are going to see if we can do this. I think everyone can see me. It looks like I've got chats going on in both rooms. So awesome. Happy Monday, y'all. It is an amazing new start. It's the end of July. Can you believe that? That's crazy. Which is, good morning, Yvette, which is exactly what we're going to talk about, relationships with your calendar. We're going to get back into conversations this week around various relationships in your life. Good morning, Martha. Is it flipped? Let me see if I can do it. Is that better? I'm long. Oops, can't read. Okay, am I upside down or am I flipped? How am I flipped this morning? I'm trying to do two feeds here, so I just want to see if I've got this right. Am I upside down? Am I sideways? How am I flipped? Because I see me the right way, the way I've got all my cameras set up. So let me know. Because like I said, I'm trying something new this morning. Trying to go live on two different platforms. So hopefully it's not too crazy. But if I am skewed or whatever, I need to know. I'm not sure the YouTube. No, reversed. Like flipped left to right. Good for you. Oh, so maybe what I need to do next time is put my phone the other way. Hopefully it doesn't skew things up. I'll go back and look at it later on. As long as I'm not upside down, I guess we're good. So you probably see my door on the other side and whatnot. Gotcha, haha. So I'm just trying to mess with y'all this morning. That's fine. That's interesting. I need to put it on the other side, so that's fine. I will work on that tomorrow. For today, happy Monday. Like I said, I want to jump back into some conversations. Okay, awesome. Good. We'll just work with it today and we'll continue to tweak. This is how you learn and grow, right? So like I said, I'm trying to do two different platforms here. Wasn't sure how it was going to work. Good morning, Carol. So I'm just trying to see how to align my cameras, how to align my different technology. I'm going to be playing around with some things. I'm trying to access more discussion, more people. I have several people that are not Facebookers, especially some of my corporate folks. So just trying to open up a way that we can have more people engaged in this conversation who want to be here. So I will continue to work on make sure my camera is flipped the right way. For now, everything's in reverse, so we're all good. How was everybody's weekend? It's great to see you all. We are going to get into some more around different kinds of relationships in your life. And today we're going to focus on the relationship with your calendar. It is a great opportunity to have that discussion. I know I do a lot around talking about prioritization, your calendar, how you're showing up, your focus management, and we can't have enough conversations. Plus, with us coming to the end of a quarter, an end of actually, we're at the start of a quarter, end of a month, start of a new month. We're in the summer, so it's a great time for a lot of you. This is more of a downtime. So you have an opportunity to kind of level up, reset, think about how you want to be more intentional, especially going into, September, October, November, December. We want to see where we're at. Good morning, Terry. And so today I want to talk about how your relationship with your calendar is affecting you. Is it something that is powerfully feeding you, or is it something that is powerfully draining you? And what I say around that is, it's interesting to me how many people I work with, whether they're in my masterminds, whether they're in my groups, whether they're one-on-one, who the conversation oftentimes is, my calendar is running my life. I see that you're back. Terry, you and I need to talk. I don't know if you saw my text, but question about this coming Friday, so go back and see what I sent you. So I want you to think about, is your calendar running your life, or are you running your calendar? Because a lot of people, it's amazing to me, whether you have Outlook or iCal or Google Calendar or some other kind of calendar that you're using, it's amazing to me when people think their calendar is running their life. And so the thing is if you're in a position where you feel like, one, your calendar is running your life, or two, there's not enough hours in the day, it's time for a pause and a reset to redirect what you're focused on and what you're prioritizing on. Because here's the thing, your calendar is a tool. It is a tool, it's an application, it's there to help you manage your priorities and how you get to show up and how you serve. If your calendar is just an inundation of everybody else's dumping ground, because what happens is we find ourselves saying yes to meetings that just pop up. We allow people to take control of our calendar. If some of you have an online scheduler, you haven't gone in and really thought about what hours of your day are available for various calls or groups or meetings or whatever. If you were to go into my calendar, you would see that it's really hard to get on my calendar before mid-morning to early afternoon, Monday through Friday. And actually, you can't get on my calendar Monday and Friday unless I send you a specific message to get you on my calendar, because that's sacred time for me. I'm really clear, and see, Peyton's getting fired up on the conversation again. So I'm really clear about the fact that my calendar has to be something that is working for me. And I want you to think about, as we talk about this more this morning, I want you to think about, and I want you to kind of get honest with yourself right now. Is your calendar working for you, or are you working a little too much for your calendar at the moment? And so I want you to really get in the mindset of, it's either going to be a hell yes for the stuff on your calendar, or it's going to be a hell no. There's not going to be this wishy-washy, maybe, someday, perhaps, kind of, I guess. We're going to start getting more deliberate around how to say yes, effectively, purposely, intentionally, powerfully, and how to say no, and a very solid no complete sentence, no thank you complete sentence, so that you start moving things off your calendar. And the reason that I want to bring this to you on a Monday morning, because we have a split week. We're coming into the end of the month, and we're going into another month, right? And so I like to do a lot of review. I do a daily review, a weekly review, monthly review. And so we're in a space where there's a lot of opportunity to reset, plan. And many of you know I took some time this weekend to just go get off the grid a little bit, got a little color, and got to lay by the pool and did a lot of thinking and did a lot of mental and kind of spiritual work for myself to feed my soul. And aside from getting on the Facebook Live Friday, I did not, Facebook Live, because I wasn't doing YouTube yet. Aside from getting on the live Friday morning, I didn't do any work this weekend. Not work, right? Not hustle kind of work. Because it was very clear I needed to clear out my calendar and do a little reset, because I was feeling as if my calendar is starting to run my life a little. And so what I do, Sundays are a really good time for me to do what I call kind of front load your calendar, or really set up success in your calendar for the week. And so what I'll do is I'll take 30 minutes. And once you get into a practice of it, it really only takes like 20, 30 minutes. And I look at my whole week ahead and I'm like, okay, one, is everything on here aligned with what I want to be moving forward? So is it a hell yes for me, or is it a yes, I need to do this because it connects to something else that is a hell yes? So if it's aligned with a priority, if it's something, if it's a client, meeting, whether it's one of my mastermind people, whether it's my one-on-one clients, those are top priority, right? Those are my revenue generators. Those are the things that absolutely are hell yes on my calendar. And then anything else, is it the space that's going to help me grow? Is it the space that lets me build more strategy, build out different resources, tools? Is it the way I want to show up for the week? And so I sit and look at my whole calendar, Monday through Friday, and ask myself, is there enough white space? Do I have enough balance between business stuff, strategy stuff, networking stuff, if that's what I want to be doing, my own health and wealth and filling my cup stuff, and so my education, like I spend at least 30 minutes a day feeding my soul, my mind, my spirit. Is that reflected on my calendar? And some of you are like, I don't like to be that scheduled. Yes, and I'm going to tell you that if it's not on your calendar, if you're not creating the right discipline, if you're not creating the right strategy for how you show up and how you're getting into some rhythms in your day, you are never going to get to your next level. And by the way, for those of you that think that know you're the creatives, you like that freedom, structure in your calendar actually creates. It's freedom in the framework, right? It's not that you have to be super rigid. It's that you have to know that there are certain buckets that are being filled, and you're very clear about how you're showing up and how you're serving. That actually will open up more creative space for you. So I want you to really think about that and sort of shift that mindset. The other thing is, a lot of people are like, I don't like discipline. I'm not consistent. And the truth of the matter is, yes, you are. We all are consistent. It's human nature. We get into patterns, we get into habits, we get into rhythms. The thing is that you've created discipline and habits and consistency in spaces that don't serve you. So I want you to think about that. You're consistently procrastinating. You're consistently making excuses. You're consistently waking up late. You're consistently making choices why you're not working out and doing things. And we're going to talk about your relationship with food and health and your wellness on another day. But when you think about it, when you really look at I have learned to love structure to unleash my creativity, right? Yes. Terry, thank you for that. I know you were one that really, the structure in a calendar sometimes can feel like, but here's the thing, it's the freedom. You get the freedom to create the ample white space. And when you start getting into a consistency and habits and create structure that actually serve you, you open up more space for play, more space for thinking and strategy, more space for creative, imaginative type of work that is so powerful. The problem is that most of you have your calendar so jammed up that you're hustling and you're hustling and you're hustling and you're busy for being busy again. Yvette, I love that. It's my job, right? I'm going to get in your head every morning. I'm going to light that fire under you so you can light it within you, right? But I want you to think about that. We are exhausted and depleted energetically because we are not focused on the things that are allowing us to step into our purpose, step into our gifts, step into the thing that's letting us show up at our highest and best value. And because we've got our calendar so jammed up, there's no room to breathe. And here's the thing, without breathing room, without white space, without creativity, without play, you cannot get to your next level because all you're doing is playing cleanup on all the stuff that's jamming up your calendar, which is why I want you to really get into that space and practice around, if it's not a hell yes, I mean a hell yes, then it is a hell no, right? Because there is no this halfway space that most of us play in, and I want you to think about that. I want you to think about how many times you say, well, I guess, maybe, yeah, well, someday, whatever it is, however you commit to people, right? I want you to think about the fact that every time you say that, you energetically are depleting yourself because somewhere inside of you, you know it is not something you want to be doing. And I think about Brené Brown. I was reading again because we actually have one of my masterminds. It's one of the books we're digging into right now is Dare to Lead. And so I was listening to it on my way back, way to and from Houston. And I've already gotten into it, but you can't listen to it too much, can't read it too much. And it was interesting about how she talks about and what does she call it? It's basically the cop-out yes. It's the yes that you say, and then behind someone's back or after the fact or 10 minutes later, you really know you meant no. And so what happens is a couple things. When you decide to say yes to things that you didn't want to say hell yes, what happens is you either create resentment, you half-ass the way you're showing up, you are not putting your whole heart into it, so you're not serving somebody. So think about, not only are you frustrated, you've got resentment, you're sitting there going, why did I do this? You're energetically depleting yourself. You also then are getting into a space where for other people, you're like not showing up fully. You're kind of half-assing it. You're showing up kind of cranky and whatever. And it matters, right? If you can't show up and say hell yes to somebody, how are you serving them appropriately? So Yvette says, a busy calendar is not my problem, but getting consistent with the things that matter. But I've had some small wins. Let me see. Can I open this? A lot of times I can't when I do my phone. Yeah, we might be restructuring how I do this. That consistency is the opportunity, right? And the thing is, you are consistent. A lot of times we get the head trash or we get the space that says, I don't know how to be consistent. I'm not a consistent person. I don't know how to create habits. And the thing is, yes, you do. You're just creating them in the wrong space. And so one of the things that's an opportunity is to sit down and ask yourself what really matters. If you watched my training last week when I talked about stop looking for your purpose. Hello, Mateo. Namaste. When you're thinking about looking for your purpose, which is another thing that wastes our time because we are our purpose. Our purpose is who we are. It's our gifts. It's how we're showing up. The opportunity isn't to go looking for your purpose. The opportunity is to drop in and get really clear on what really matters to you and why. And we talk about our why a lot in your purpose. And I want you to think about the why behind the why. which is why does that drive, why does that fire matter to you? Because what's it creating for your life? And so when you sit down and you start to say, what if I were to look at in the next 12 months, what are the 3 things that matter to me most? And one of them, and I urge people all the time, one of those 3 should be around your own health, wellness, self-care. It should be about you. One of those should be about filling your cup, because most people do not create consistency and discipline in taking care of themselves so that they can step into that purpose with greater authority. They can step into that opportunity to really come from a place that is more intentional, more aligned, more congruent with who they are. And so it's not about finding your purpose, it's about getting really clear on what matters to you at this moment in your life. And I think last week I talked a little bit about what season are you in, right? Because your priorities shift. Your priorities shift depending on, did you just get married? Did you have kids? Are you now taking care of a parent? Is it you don't want to be on the road because you've got a dog you want to stay home with, or a child that you want to stay home with, or whatever your season is? You have an opportunity to sit down and start to map out, then what are my big rocks? What are the big priorities for this season of my life? And am I structuring 80% of my calendar to be aligned with discipline, opportunities, things that are going to help me, good morning Renee, things that are going to help me move that dial forward, right? And so I want you to think about that. This is where those of you that struggle with consistency, it's being consistent on the right things that are really congruent and aligned with what matters most to you. Some of you say yes too much because you're afraid that you're going to hurt someone's feelings. You're afraid that someone won't like you. You're going to be judged or criticized. All those excuses, those fears are what tend to show up in that space, because it's a place where, good morning, it's a space where we're so concerned about the external validation. We're so concerned about other people, because even the fear of failure is not really about the fear of failure. It's about how we think people are going to judge us if we fail. More than not, our fear comes around being judged and criticized. It comes down to what people are going to think and say, and they're going to think I'm selfish if I say no and I don't sign up for this. And so what? So what? If they're so caught up in why you're doing something or not, it means they're not focused on what they're doing or not. And so many times we put things in our calendar that keep us busy for the sake of being busy. And it's only when we get still, it's only when we stop, it's only when we start to say, how do I want to live my life? What matters most to me? And what are the things that are going to open up access to that more? Instead of, and I grew up, it was my belief that you had to hustle, right? That's another interesting word when it comes to your calendar and things you're doing. Man, you got to hustle. You know what? I'm starting to get into a mindset, and the more the years come and the experience and the things that I've seen, I'm not so sure it's about hustling. I feel like, because one of the things that showed up for me this weekend even was that me personally, I need to get more in a space of just being, instead of feeling like I have to do, and that all of my worth is based on what I achieve, what I crank out. I think about, most businesses and corporate, it's all about the output, right? It's how much stuff can you crank out. When that's not effective, it's just being busy for the sake of being busy, and this idea of hustling. I don't know if I want to hustle anymore as much as I want to be intentional about how I show up to open up access for what I want in my life and for how I get to share my gifts at the highest and best capacity. I want to know that every day I'm in my purpose. Good morning, Herbie. Intentionally, powerfully, passionately, that it's not as much about the hustle anymore for me. It's about, am I feeling centered and grounded at every point? And am I opening up access to allow myself to show up, to be available, to serve? Because as I said last week, it's in service that your purpose becomes magnified. And so Mateoism, in business, do not meet just to meet ever. Oh, I so agree with that. The meetings of the meetings of the meetings and the teleconferences and learn to say no. And there's people that are like, oh, I couldn't possibly say no to that. Yes, you can, actually. And you can teach people how to work with you. Good morning, Herbie. I don't know why I was just about to call you Harry Herbis. I am so it's Monday, my brain. Good morning, Herbie. That's hilarious. So I want you to really think about that, right? I want you to think about, are you doing things, good morning, Paul, are you doing things that are allowing you, good morning, Candace, allowing you to really be aligned in your purpose so that you can serve in a higher capacity? Or are you doing things that you feel you should? So there's the shoulding you're doing all over yourself because it's expected, it's the way you think you need to show up, it's what you've been told. And I love that, Yvette. No is one of my favorite words. No is powerful. And no, and just to channel my inner Brene again, no is kind. No, when you say no and you're clear about your no and you say thank you but no, or thank you and no, that doesn't serve me right now, it's kind, because then you allow someone the space and the freedom to go out. Yes, oh, I agree with you, Mateo. You can go out and they can go out and find somebody whose heart's in it, somebody who wants to show up, somebody that's aligned. And I love what Mateo just wrote. You could do a whole session on the hustle culture. It's not effective. This idea that we've got to hustle. We got to burn ourselves out. We got to be so busy that, exhaustion is the metric for success. And we have this culture where we walk around and we're like, oh my God, I'm so busy. My life sucks so much. And it's like a metric for success, and somebody else jumps in and commiserates and says, oh my God, you think you're busy? Let me tell you what's on my calendar. Yes, that's why have a why that needs a meeting. Yes, challenge yourself to figure out how to do things via email or Slack channel. Yeah, it's one of the things I love that Brene Brown talks about. She's like, paint the outcome. Because it's not even like when you're doing Scrum stuff and whatever, and it's always like, state the outcome, what's the desired outcome. That's great, but what you want to do is you want to really paint it and see where the whole picture connects, because if it's not something that's a priority, or it helps you see where there's opportunities or things that's missing, yes, no could be not now, but later. And that's the opportunity. When you say no, you could say, it's not for me right now. Feel free, you can check back in a couple months. Or no, and you can ask somebody, let's see, no could not be that way, but another way. It could be absolutely. And so it's one of those spaces where you can say, if somebody says no to you, is it no to what I'm offering? Is it no right now? Is it no to me? Is it no? You can get clarity. And honor someone's no. It's amazing. There's a great statement that says, help people say yes, help them move forward, help them say yes to things that are opportunity, and honor their no. And that means honoring your no. If you're going to have an effective calendar that's allowing you to show up and have a tool, your calendar is not to be dictating how your life is run. Your calendar is a tool for you to organize your priorities in the way that you're showing up and serving. Your calendar is a tool for you to show up effectively, not the other way around. And when you think about that, good morning, Charmaine. I want you to really think about how you're effectively building a relationship with your relationship. Think about it for a minute. Do you think about your relationship with your calendar? Think about that for a minute. When you think about your calendar, what kind of energy starts to feed into your body? Do you get that energy that's like, oh, my calendar, right? Oh, another day where I'm just jammed up. I've got everything kind of going boom, 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 boom. Or do you think about, wow, my calendar is structured in a way that I can powerfully show up, I can powerfully serve, it's aligned with my big rocks and priorities, it really is allowing me to drop down, center in, and get into my purpose. Because when you have a calendar, and I remember this, I was in corporate and there were days that I was like, I don't even know when I'm going to pee. Legitimately didn't know when I was going to take a bathroom break, because my calendar was so jammed up with teleconferences as the meeting for the meeting and different things that weren't allowing me to play at my highest and best level. And it's only when you start to say hell yes to the things that really matter for you, the things that really show up, the things that really allow you to deeply drop into your space, and be able to say hell no to the things that are just jamming up your calendar. Let me see, a bunch of you are fired up this morning. Mateo, my calendar, I hear Coach Candy's words. Today I get to. Yes, what a great preface to put in front of anything on your calendar. Your calendar should be a space of the things you get to do, the things you get to show up and serve at a higher capacity, the things that you get to step into your purpose and show and shine your magnificent light. It should not be a space where you feel energetically depleted, exhausted, where you are like dreading half of what's on your calendar for a day. We all have some of those things that, yes, from time to time, we don't want to do. I get that. And 80% of your calendar needs to be aligned to how you want to show up in this world. The other 20% should be your white space and your free space, truthfully. All the other stuff is noise. And most people have way too much noise on their calendars. Let me see what the rest of you are saying. Renee, asking, is my calendar filled with gifts of service? Ooh, I'm going to borrow that. Love that, Renee. Asking, is my calendar filled with my gifts of service or fulfilling other people's agendas? Okay, I am so borrowing that. That is a brilliant question. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. I want you to ask yourself as you're looking at your calendar, especially as you're looking at it on a Sunday or a Monday and you're getting it laid out for the week. That is a beautiful question, and I love that. Renee, thank you for sharing. Ask whether or not your calendar is filled with your gifts of service, or are you just fulfilling other people's agendas and dumping ground? And I want you to realize that most of you have a calendar that is too much about other people's dumping ground. You have allowed other people to put their crap on everything. Right, Mateo? Wow, 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 wow. I love it. Herbie, I have so much white space on my calendar now. Sometimes they feel guilty because there's not a ton in there. Yeah, well, I can tell you why you feel guilty. You and I used to work for the same environment. I remember when I left that same environment and went to go work for a place where I had white space, I had the same feeling. There's this notion that we have to be jammed up and busy, and y'all can see Peyton in the background. Look at him getting comfortable. There he is. I want you to think about that. If you're having guilt or shame because you have space in your calendar, think about how detrimental that mindset has been for so long and how much you've energetically depleted yourself and exhausted yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, because you believe that the only way, we oftentimes gauge our self-worth based on how much is on our calendar, instead of powerfully being able to say, oh my goodness, I have so much white space. And it's amazing because I get a lot of people that say, Candy, you're so busy, which most of you know busy is not a word I allow in my vocabulary. It's not something, it's a 4-letter word, if ever. I'm not busy. I'm intentional. I'm purposeful. And yes, there's a lot of output. And here's the big and I have never in my entire life had more white space, playtime, opportunity. I took off this weekend. I took off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and went and played. I've never had so much opportunity to open up space to breathe, to sit, to be with Peyton, to enjoy my life and the sunshine and days that, are really nice. And so let's see. I want you to think about that. Yes, I have a lot of productive output, and I have more white space, playtime, strategy time, daydream time than I've ever had in my life. I have a far more balance and harmony, and I am producing more than I've ever produced at a higher level quality because, as Renee said, it's me stepping into the gifts I get to serve. And so I'm going to think about that. Terry, today I get to serve. I love that. I get to serve 5 senior leaders in a Fortune 500 company, as well as 5 people leading the strategic healing process. That's amazing. Congratulations. I know you will crush it. It will be awesome. And so I'm going to say, that's so amazing. And I love a friend of mine, Scott Schilling, will always say, knock them alive, right? He's like, just like kick it into them. You get a lot of times people will say knock them dead. I like the expression knock them alive, right? And Terry, I know you will do that. How awesome. What a great opportunity to figure out the next way to serve and bring your awesome to others. Yeah. Here's the thing, without space, without having a nurturing relationship with your calendar, without recognizing that your calendar is nothing more than a tool for you to effectively, powerfully, passionately, purposely step up, it's just a dumping ground for everything else. Your calendar should not be running your life. You should be using your calendar to decide how you want to live your life. And I want you to hear the distinction in that. Your calendar shouldn't be running your life. Your calendar should be a tool to help you effectively, powerfully, purposely, passionately live your life. Not even your calendar should be working for you. Your calendar should be a tool to help you live your life at the best level you possibly can. And as Renee so graciously shared with us, an opportunity for you to share your gifts, shine your light, show up in your purpose, because it is not something you need to find, and allow yourself to drop in that space and really really powerfully be congruent and aligned with who you are. And so I want you guys to think about, where are you missing opportunities? And again, remember, it's not about whether or not you're consistent or not. You're very consistent. Are you being consistent in the right things? Are you being consistent in terms of how you procrastinate, how you make excuses, how you're letting other people put things on your calendar that are not for you? Or are you getting consistent around the habits, discipline, the things that are going to create opportunity for you to step into your next level, for you to create your own living legacy, and for you to deliver the gifts that you have an opportunity and responsibility to serve. And it was interesting, I was watching a quick video on Instagram yesterday where I forget who it was, but said, give yourself permission to share your gifts. And it's that space of not thinking, well, there's too many coaches out there, I'm just, everybody, we need you. Somebody needs you. It doesn't matter if your message is the same as somebody else's. Nobody, and I said this last week, nobody can do it with your voice. Nobody can share that message. Nobody can show up with your voice print, your heart print, your soul print. Nobody can be the energetic field you are with all of what you were made of, even if your message sounds like somebody else's, even if what you do is very similar to someone else. No one else can put your unique human print on it. And so for that, know that you need right now to give yourself permission to align your calendar, to build a relationship with your calendar so that you can show up powerfully, passionately, and purposely in that space. With that, everyone, happy Monday, y'all. It is time to get the fire lit under you so you can fully get that fire lit inside of you, as always. And like I said, thank you for your patience. I know I'm reversed today. I'm trying to work out some technology so I can be on multiple platforms at one time. We'll see how this works. So thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. Thank you for being here. Go out and make it a absolutely on point, fired up, fully charged Monday, and make sure your calendar is set for you to have the best week of your life so far. With that, everybody, I will see you tomorrow. I'll be back at 7:30 Central Time. We will talk more about some other relationships and whatever else comes to mind. Again, if you want any specific topics to dig into, shoot me a message, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow morning. For those of you in Yes Monthly, remember, bonus Facebook Live tonight on the Camp Candy page. Those of you not there, you can still join us, see what it's all about. Love you too. You are welcome, Martha. Love you too, Yvette. Love you all. Yes, I got a nice tan. Look at that. Look at those tan lines. Woo! I got some color this weekend. With that, everybody, I love you, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Okay, let me see if I can get off of 2 platforms here at the same time.